Okay. We started to talk a little bit before Sukkot, before Tishrei. I mean, in Elul, we're discussing in Yanim of Chinuch Katan. I want to finish off with learning the Simin in the Shulchan Aruch of Alter Rebbe on the Dinim. And with Hashem, then we're going to go on to other topics, other Yanim. Maleichem. Simin Shemekin, yeah. Din Katan b'Shabbos, the din of a Katan on Shabbos. Even though it talks about a Katan on Shabbos, but that's the title of the Simin, but the Simin itself is going to discuss not only Shabbos, discuss all mitzvahs in the Torah. When is the shear of Chinuch? When's the age of Chinuch? When do you have to stop a Katan from doing something, an Asr, and when not? And is there a difference between the father and other adults? So these are important halachas. Katan ha'oiv al divrei Torah lahana osei. A Katan who is transgressing halachas in the Torah for his own pleasure. Is eating a piece of an avela, something which is treif, either from a kosher animal or non-kosher animal, or for his own purposes, he's being mechal Shabbos. The Bezdin, and meaning all Klal Yisrael, we have no obligation to stop him. If he's doing it for himself, he's not doing it for an adult, he's doing it for himself on his own, we don't have a chiyuv to stop him. And this is talking about regular people. The father, we're going to see in the next if is chayiv, the father's chayiv and chinuch. But if I see a child in Chal Shabbos, I don't have to stop him. Not mechuyev.
If you play in toys that...
It's a good kasha. We'll talk about it soon. If he does it for an adult, even if it's not the father, he does it for a gadol, you have a chiv to stop him.
This is below the age of chinuch.
This is below the age of chinuch.
Not specific.
Yeah, even below the age of chinuch. This has nothing to do with chinuch. See, let's start actually a stage earlier. Before we read this thing, we have to know halacha. We spoke about this a little bit in Elul time, just to refresh our memories. The Torah says, Lois soichlum ki shekes him lechem. The Torah says an extra pasuk. You're not allowed to eat these different bugs and different things that are shratzim that are also in the Torah. We already know this. Why is the Torah telling us this again? So Chazal say, this extra pasuk Lois soichlum is here to tell us not only that you shouldn't eat, but you shouldn't feed it to children. Loi sachilum. If you read it loi sachilum, there aren't any nekudas in the Torah. If you read it loi sachilum, not loi saichum, it's talking you should not feed it. Lahazer gedoylim al katanim, that the gedoylim are warned from allowing from giving a child an isser.
In Hebrew, ta'achilun is somebody else.
Exactly.
Ta'achilun.
Toichlu means for himself. So that we have a pasuk already. This pasuk we're going to read, we read it in the Torah Lo Yisoichlum when the Baal Korah reads it. But the drasha is Lo Yisachilum Lahazir Gedoylum Ala Katanim, that you shouldn't, an adult cannot go and give an isser to a child. So that means doesn't matter, it's not nothing to do with chinuch. The whole idea of the age of chinuch only applies to the father. The whole concept of a certain age of chinuch, the whole idea of chinuch. When I say the word chinuch, that means the father. Mm-hmm. However, everyone else who's not the father cannot go and give a child treif, or give him something to Mechal Shabbos, or tell him go be Mechal Hashem. You can't do that. It's an Issa Lo Yisachilum min HaTorah. It's an Issa min HaTorah Lo Yisachilum. However, if I see him doing it on his own, for his own purposes. He's doing something because he wants to do it on his own, because he likes to do it, the child. And I'm not the father, and I'm no chiyuv to stop him. But if he's doing it for me, he sees that I need something on Shabbos, and he goes and does it. He's going to do a malacha for me. I have to stop him, because doing it for me, even though I'm not the father. That's because of the Isser Lo Sachilum. Because he's doing a malacha for me, it's the Isser Lo Sachilum.
But if it's someone Mechalel Shabbos, you have to go and to warn him, say you're not allowed to.
Not on a child.
Oh, not in a child.
You don't have to, you could, but you're not on a child. Maybe it's a nice thing, you care about the person's child, but you don't have to, as a chiv, a pi halacha, I don't have to say anything to him. Now, so it's clear, the first two lines. First line is that the katan who does it on his own for himself, even if it's an ism and hatoira, I don't have a chiv to tell him anything if I'm not the father. And avol oisa gadol, if he makes it for a gadol, an adult, so then you have to stop him. He's doing it for you. So midrabanan, that's considered like sachilum. It's as if you didn't tell him to do it, so you're not oivim and hatoira. But midrabanan, he's doing it for you. You're not allowed to have him do things, even on his own, for you. V'imu davar misparsin l'rabim. There's an exception to the rule. Even though the halacha is katan oichel avelis ein bezin mitzvah la'afrishay. A katan which is eating the velis, the bezin does not have to stop him. However, if there's going to be a mistake which is going to come out from it, even if he's doing it for himself, but it could be a communal mistake, you have to stop him. Going, for example, if he blows shofar on Rosh Hashanah that falls on Shabbos, people hear the voice, they don't know where it's coming from, the sounds. They hear shofar sounds on Shabbos. Think, well, there's certain shuls that are blowing. Certain people are blowing. Maybe some people have the meaning to blow. Maybe this is okay. So, therefore, even though the halacha is that a katan who does averis, even ism and Torah, if he's doing it for himself, I could look the other way, just from straight halachic perspective. However, in a case where there's going to come some type of issue, you have to stop him, because there comes some mistake. Now, we have very important, Sif Beis. It calls the Ba'chedim. This is all when it comes to other people. Other people don't have to stop, but other adults, not the father, don't have to stop him when he's doing things for himself. Abul Aviv, his father, is not that way. Kivin Shumutzum Divrei Soy from Lechanech his B'nai. He is mechoyim midrabanan to educate his son or biter his daughter. Afilu mitzvah essay, even in a mitzvah essay, mishigiu lechinuch. When it comes to the age of chinuch, kol shekein shemechoyim divrei seif v'nigmal afrishim alav aleisasa. For sure, he's obligated midrabanan to stop them from being over aleisasa. So if the father is obligated to go out of his way to tell the son, shake lulav and esrig, and do this mitzvah and do another mitzvah, sit in the sukkah, so for sure he's obligated to stop him from doing a loisasa. Even if it's the issa midrabanan, you have to stop. The father has to stop him. If he does not stop them from a issa min, his children, you have a father who's neglecting his chiyuv v'chinuch. He's not stopping his children from doing yisurim which are min ha-Torah, then the Bezdin has to mix in. The Bezdin, the Rav, has to tell off the father. If the father is allowing his children to do yisurim min ha-Torah, ha-Bezdin, tzrichim ha-Bezdin limchis b'yadei. If the father is neglecting his chinuch when it comes to yisurim midrabanan, the son's doing yisurim midrabanan, the people are watching, and the father's allowing the son to do an Issa Midrabanan, even though the son's doing it for himself. He's not doing it for the father. So the father's an obligation to stop him, but the Bezdin's not going to tell the father anything yet. We don't have a chiv to tell the father off, since it's only Issa Midrabanan. However, if the father is looking the other way, it could happen in a shul. You see the child's doing something, it's awesome in Torah, and the father's watching, he doesn't say anything. You have an obligation to tell the father you're the father. You have to mechanech him. And he's only doing something else with the Rabbanan, I don't have a chiyuv to tell him anything. Okay, it's clear.
Mm-hmm.
But when a child comes and tries to do a malacha, you're not allowed to go and ask a child to go turn on lights for you or that, because he's doing the malacha for you. He's doing that for sure as us.
He's doing it on his own for you.
Again, same thing.
Right, that's what
Like
he said.
the first line. The first line.
what he
Avol oisa b'shvil
He
gadol.
wants to be a nice guy. The cotton wants to be a nice.
He's
boy.
doing it right. He's doing b'shvil gadol.
He decided on his own. He's gonna be.
He's doing it for you.
Proactive, and he's gonna say that this is what you want, and he's gonna do it. That's no good.
Right. You have to stop him.
I saw a house that the baby.
But we'll see in
year and a half-
Sivav, there's gonna be a heter. We did speak about it a little bit in Elul. There is a heter in certain situations. When it's an Issa Midrabanan, there is a certain Shita which holds its mutter. Until now, we're doing the Shita of the Rambam. Rambam holds it's Asr to tell a child even to do an Issa Midrabanan. If we're talking about a case where you're not the father always has to stop the child from doing an Aveira. But what happens if you're not the father and you need something done in Issa Midrabanan? So the Rambam holds you not allowed. That's like we just learned now. But in Siva, we're going to see later on that the Shita of the Rashba, a unique Shita of the Rashba, another one of the Rishonim, the Rashba held that in certain cases, when it's Asa Midrabanan, and someone who's not the father, an adult other than the father, in certain situations can have the child to do an Issa for him, if he needs it done.
I was in the house, baby, maybe year and a half. By mistake, I closed the light in the living room. So the father, not the father, the owner of the house, took the baby like this. He come next to the switch
I've
and
seen that many times.
million of those things.
But let me
Without telling them.
Seen that routine.
Wait.
routine.
But did the child? He didn't tell him anything. Did he point?
He didn't, but he took him next to the
Now, how old was the child?
year.
He's a toddler.
Okay, so there is a tatum for this. It's not things that should be really done like on a regular basis. But if these things, if there's necessary to
Necessary,
situation,
it was dark.
there is situations where reasons why it came out, because you understand. First of all, the child in this age is not the age of chinuch, so there's no chinuch issue.
He doesn't know
There's
what
always
life
two issues you have to deal with here. There's chinuch, and then there's the iser loy sachilum. Chinuch only applies to the father. Loy sachilum, that every yid in Klal Yisrael, gedolim are muzar katanim. Gedolim are warned that we cannot allow Katanim to do Isurim for us, and we cannot tell the Katanim to do things for us. They do it on their own, we don't have to say. That's called Katan Oichel Nevelis. A Katan is eating Nevelis. Aim Bezdim Mitzum Lafrishi, we don't have to stop him. That's the halach. It's Machlekes and Gemara. The halach is you don't have to stop him. However, if he does it for you, even though you're not his father, that goes into the category of the Isser Loy Sachilum, that you are not directly, but he's doing it for you. He's sort of doing something for you, so you're having him do something for you. On Isser, that goes into the category of Lahazar Gedoyim Malakatanim Leisachilim. Midrabana.
Does a kid get
Midaraisa, it's only when you tell him. And that, by the way, is not applied to the age of Chinuch. It's even the child 5, 4, 3, 2. You're not allowed to tell him. If the father went and told this child, go and turn on the light for me, or he points to the light, it's Asr. It's Loi Sachilim. It's an Issim in HaTorah. You're having him turn on a light, a regular light, a light bulb, let's say it's not a fluorescent bulb, but the regular bulbs, those are Isurim in HaTorah. So you're having him turn on a fire for you on Shabbos, and you're directly telling him to do it, that's the Isser Lo Sechil on HaTorah.
Well,
Even if he does it,
you hold that a fluorescent bulb is not Minotaurah.
Lav Dafke. Shlomo Zalman, depends which ones. Not I hold, but Shlomo Zalman Auerbach held that certain ones weren't a problem, and lead, not Min HaTorah, and also lead lights. It all depends whether or not there is a hot metal there, which gets heated up to the point where it's like really hot. When regular bulbs have inside them the little metal
filament?
the elements that get really hot, you see them. It's mamash fire. So Rambam Zalman says, well, why do I care if the fire is created from electricity, or the fire is created. The fire is created by stones and sticks and stones, or the fire is created by electricity. It's a fire. I have a fire. It burns. It's hot. It's eish. However, if I don't have anything that's so hot, if it's made there's gas or there's
CFL.
that's what's inside the fluorescent bulbs.
It's mercury, yeah.
Mercury, something in there,
It burns,
and that's what's giving off this glow. So I understand. The way I understood the way he wrote, I'm not Baki in the Messiah, so you cannot rely on anything I'm saying halacha l'maisa in this issue. I'm just what I one time saw, and it could be things change with the time. He said there are two types of fluorescent bulbs. Some of them have some sort of metal starter piece. That this metal piece, it's not something you see. It's like in there.
It's a starter.
That metal piece can get really hot to the point where he considered that a gechelo shel eish. That's considered like a very hot metal can have a status of fire. You know, it can burn. It can. So that would be considered putting on such a like would also be deraisa. But if there is no such an element there, let's say you're putting batteries, right? Batteries into there's nothing that gets that hot there. It's lav dafke any isam and hatoyr. It's also midrabanan.
What happens is that it has to be a tiny spark, otherwise nothing is going to go on.
Battery things, there's no sparks.
Huh?
As kid you put a battery in a radio, in a walkie-talkie, whatever these batteries are. You put in anything battery operated, there's no sparks there. You can ask people, but there's a current. You create a current.
It's a current, but it's not a spark.
There's no spark. It's electricity. It's electricity.
Not like a chelas.
You see, the Am is like this. The Chazanish held that all electricity is an isser min haTorah. It's an isser min haTorah. He held it's called boina. It's isser. It's binyan. You're building.
Not even
Not even Aish. Nothing to do with Aish. There's no Aish there.
The other Hazanish is a man.
Huh?
Yeah, I was given the electricity. There were no fluorescent lights then.
Yeah, it wasn't fluorescent lights then, but he held nothing to do with fire, nothing to do with Savaro Aish. It's an Isser of the Malacha Binyan. He held as Baina, you're creating a current. Creating a current is Binyan. However, most Paiskim disagree with him, and they held that that's not Binyan. Shem Zaman Erbach held very strongly that Mechila Kvaitirasa, he says that that's not Binyan, that's not building. You can't see it, you can't see the current, and then that's not building. So even though it can, according to Chazanish held, Ein L'Chabin Golem is that it could do so many things, electricity. Look what it could accomplish. So that's not binyan. For him, that was pashut, it was binyan. For Shamazama, that was pashut, it wasn't binyan. So there are certain rabbanim that are choishish for the Chazanish shita, but a little of a chumrah, others v'chlan not choishish. Shamazama shita was that a regular current, creating electrical current, a circuit, is only yasim midrabban. It's an isser of moilid. That moilid, that you're creating something, creating the current. But it's not an isser of fire unless you have their fire. Or a metal which gets very hot. Which consider like a hot coal, like a hot piece of metal. So like a chelas. So therefore he went into to discuss different types of flooring. I think what they hold is, I think that Rabbanim hold that LED lights, that they have sometimes little red LED lights and like that, different items. They say that there's nothing gets hot there.
Regular bulbs.
And in the fluorescent bulbs itself, depends about the starter piece or not. But the actual thing, there's no metal piece in there to get hot. It's just like a glow from this gas.
It's not hot enough.
Yeah, whatever's in there. So it depends, but it's very, sometimes you have lights in a house, you have all different types. In this one itself, you have two types, right? You're using, in chandeliers, people be using different bulbs, and there could be a few different types, and the almost might be clearly Aish. You gotta know how things work. You have to know how an air conditioner works. Is there such a hot piece of metal? Is it an Issa Deraisa? It's not so pashut. So you need to know a little bit the mitzias, the facts on the ground, and fragment is mir because I don't know them. So
okay, like an air conditioner or a microphone. There's no spark and there's no heat.
There's no hot metal.
No.
So could be it's only asim rabbanan. Ein chanami. Someone had told me. Someone told me that he knows how he's not an expert, but he knows things. He told me that air conditioners don't have any such metal piece. I don't know.
So what should it be even the rabbanan?
No, then you're creating electric current. Turning it on, you're attaching the current. The current is now going to connect. So that the Rabbanim accepted was Asim the Rabbanim.
Wait a minute, who says it's Asma the Rabbanan? The Chasonish.
No.
It's Moiled according to...
No.
Rabbanim.
Chazanish holds Asim in Torah. It's building. Building a current
Yeah.
is binyan. But Shem Zalman didn't hold this Asim.
It's
He holds also Asim the Rabbanim because of Moiled. That's Bekub on all of Klal Yisrael.
Only but.
That you're moiled, there's an issa being moiled something new, like you're not allowed to be moiled, let's say crush ice and create water, because it was originally ice, now it's water. Changing the form, or creating a smell, like creating a new smell, like using deodorant, it's not so
That's
pashut.
Moiled.
Could be an issue of moiled depending how it is done. Maybe if there's original, some leftover deodorant, you're adding more, it's not. There's issues on moiled. So this was mukobel by all the Rabbanim to also whether whether the Atzel Poil all of Klal Yisrael to accept the Isser. But something which has a gechelas shalish, it's min haTorah. So in Echanami we do need to know. A Rav who's answering the shilas does need to know these issues because it comes up shilas. When it comes to heat, we're makel anyways, asking a guy, let's say, to put on the heat. What is an Negeya anyways? An Issa Midrabanan is also Asa, right? It's like, Shat, we're only going to, if it's Asa Midraisa, if it's Midrabanan Mutter, it's Mutter, it's anyways Asa. So what's going to be, when it's Negeya is more when it comes to an Isser, to doing something for a child. If the child has a certain tzorich, you could certain times do an Issa Midrabanan. If the child's not well, let's say, or even that b'koch nefesh, If the child's not well. Another thing is like asking a goy. You're not allowed to ask a goy to do an Issa min haTorah for you. But you can ask a goy to do an Issa midrabanan for you in certain situations, like if it's a tzarich mitzvah, tzarich chayla, tzarich gadol, different situations mutter. So you have to know, is that malacha derabanan or not? So you have to know the facts. Is it derabanan? You have to know, how does this machine work? How does this work? You have to know some things.
Is there a Timtum Halev?
Then there is heat. When it comes to heat, turning on the heat, lighting fire on Shabbos for heat purposes, Chazal were matter to tell a goy, even a malacha, even though it's min haTorah.
The tzara for tzibur.
No, it's pashut. It's hakoil choyl meitzil hatzina. Everyone, people can get very sick. And what would they do in the olden days? They had they tell the Shabbos guy to come in and put in every Shabbos. The Shabbos guy would come into the house and put up the fire for them. The guy was doing malacha min haTorah, was mamash putting up a fire. How well our heating systems, with the boilers and everything, is also min haTorah. So, but you're allowed to have a guy do that because you need heat chazal or matter. Everything else only when it's a issa derabban.
Someone's going to derive that if it's boiling hot 100 degrees outside, it'll be the same thing as heat.
Oh, so there are in a chanami. So there are shitas that say the air conditioning.
Same thing.
Certain situations of heat where it's very hot out, you can compare it that you can tell a guy to turn on the air conditioning. As well, by the way, you have to remember it could be air conditioning is only derabbanan. We have to figure out the mechanism of air conditioning. So if it's issa derabbanan, it's much easier to deal with. But if it's issa deraisa, again, if we can compare it and say there's older people in the house, and there's children here, and someone could, so then you can ask the guy to turn it on.
I know.
If you have a shul, and you have all different types of people, there's older people and things.
You have to put it. Yeah.
Get hot, so it's a sakana. If it's an issue just a comfortability, so you don't have the heter. Just it's not. You want to be more comfortable, but it's bearable heat. It's not so humid. It's bearable. It's just a comfortability issue. You can't have a guy turn it on unless you have a certain situation with a chayla, whatever it is. Okay, every situation has to be judged for itself. Let's get back to our halachas. Siv Beis Gimel. Shir Chinuch. When is the Shir Chinuch? The mitzvah's essay, when it comes to a mitzvah, a positive mitzvah essay, hu b'chol tinek lefi charifusai v'diasai. Based on his sharpness and his knowledge. B'chol davar, every mitzvah lefi yanav, every mitzvah has to be judged for itself. Going, for example, hayedeya me'inyan Shabbos, chay l'shmei Kiddush v'avdalah. A child who knows and understands the concept of Shabbos, you have to have him hear Kiddush and Havdalah. Hayedeya lis'atif k'alocha chayev b'tzitzis. A child who knows how to put on a tzitzis is chayev in tzitzis. Kein kol kayotze b'zeh. Bein mitzvah say shal Torah, bein should be serving. Whether it's a mitzvah say min Torah, or whether it's something the Chazal were mechayev us to. Mikra Megillah, Netilas Yadayim, Chanukah Licht, and if you mitzvah min midrabanan, reading Hallel.
If you can do it.
If he can do it, he understands it. He has to know about it. Aval hachinuch b'lo yisaseh. When it comes to be mechanech a child, this is again this sif is only for the father, not for any other adult. The chiv chinuch b'lo yisaseh. When it comes to negative commandment, bein shel Torah ben shitrei, and whether it's min Torah or it's min derabanan, is in a much lower age. U'b'chol tinik shu bar havana. Any child which is a bar havana has an understanding. Shemevin kishaymru leishazah also lasis elechel. He understands when you tell him it's also to do, also to eat. When it comes to an essay, the child has to have understanding what the mitzvah is doing. You're asking him to do something. Does he understand what Kiddush is about? What Shabbos is about? Does he know what it is? When it comes to Aloy Sasa, he doesn't need to understand everything about the Chazer. He just needs to know that we don't eat it. He needs to know the no. He needs to understand that's also for me to do. In Shabbos, right? You have children. You tell the child also to turn on lights, but the child's too young to understand that. The child goes and flips on the lights on and off, doesn't understand. So that's not the age of chinuch for that. Child's not shaykhis understanding. The child will reach the age where they understand that this is something I'm not supposed to do. So fine. Whether they understand all about Shabbos, they not understand anything about Shabbos, the seventh day, that Hashem gave us a day of rest. Hashem gave us Shabbos, one of the Saturdays to do. They don't understand that all. They never heard about it. They're too young. They didn't go to school yet. Yeshiva, but they know that that's not something we do. We don't do that. We don't eat that. We don't do that. And then that's the age for that. A child does not have any understanding at all. A father does not have to force the child not to eat treifa foods. And Melchal Shabbos. I feel b'Isra Torah, even she'eini mevin klal ingin mashamayna fish. Since he doesn't understand what he's telling him to do, he's telling him stop. Well, what am I doing? He doesn't understand. So therefore, you're not mechuy to mechanech him. But you're not allowed to give the child to do it. And if the child's doing it for you, no matter what age, the child's doing it for you, not only the father, it could be any other. Because at this age, there's no chi of chinuch. The child's younger than the age of chinuch by a loisasa. He has no havana, but still, you're not allowed to have the child do things for you. Therefore, the father was having the child turn on the light. And the child understands that he's turning on the light for the father, it's usher. If the child went and turned on the light because he likes to play with the light,
He likes to play with it.
and you took him and stood him there, then you know child's going to start playing with it because you put him in front of a toy, he's going to play with it. So you put him next to the light, he's going to start playing with the light switch, and he did it on his own. And so he's not the age of chinuch yet. So he's 1, 2 years old. He doesn't understand that this is also to do. He's below the age of chinuch. So he's below the age of chinuch for this loisasa. And I'm not telling him to do it. And he's not doing it for me. He thinks he's just playing with something. So as soon as he flips it up, I pick him up and move him away. So it's okay. It's not something you should be doing on a regular basis. It's not a healthy way of running a Yiddish house.
At a very young age.
But if this comes a certain situation
Kid would know he's safe.
where you find yourself in a situation where you're stuck, the light is off in a room, the light is on in a bedroom, let's say. It was a mistake. Before Shabbos, the light was left on. How is the child going to go to sleep? How are the parents going to go to sleep? There's no other bedrooms in the house. This is what they have. Where are they going to go? You don't have another choice. So if the child is put there, and the child is not looking back to see if you're smiling and happy what he's doing, you just you put him there. So in a din, it's okay. We'll see by an Issa Derabanan, turning off a light is an Issa Derabanan. So there's more Makam Lahakal, it's only Kibui, extinguishing a fire on Shabbos. It's Derabanan because if I don't need the coals, I don't need The kol is the malacha she'ein tzricha legufa. I don't need the kol or the ashes or the match that it was that I extinguished. So then it's not considered a malacha tzricha legufa if it's only asim d'rabbanan. Besides, turning off lights on Shabbos is asim d'rabbanan for another reason, because it's only a metal. The metal is not anyways turned into coal. It doesn't turn into ash or coal anyways, the metal. You turn off the current.
Lagufa doesn't mean that you want it dark. That's not considered lagufa.
No.
Also, it's very interesting.
It's asim d'rabbanan, so therefore there's more kulas with that. But turning on a light, again, can very, very well be in Islam Torah, like we just spoke.
Mm-hmm.
So turning on a light. I'm not saying in every single case, but a lot of the cases could be in Islam Torah. So the only way it would be permitted would be in this way, where the child is below the age of chinuch for Loisa, say he's 1-2 years old. He doesn't understand when you tell him something is usher. He's not going to know, now I can't do that again. He doesn't understand that. Again, the child's not doing it for you. You're not telling him. The child's not looking to see if you're happy and smile. The child just is trying to play with it. So then you put the child near the thing, near whatever you need the child to do. And you have a tzayrich because you have nowhere to go to sleep or whatever it is. A lot of people sitting in the dining room. You have a lot of guests and people are sitting there, and there's no light. So you have a tzayrich for it. So you can do such a thing.
Only the
Only about karche, but
What does it mean?
I mean, a child's not obligated. The
What
father's
about
not.
the whole thing with Tam Tam
See a 1-2 years old child
Yeah.
doing things
Tam
outside.
Tam Tam
Happens all the time on Shabbos, right? The child is playing with muksa.
Right.
He's 2 years old. He's 1 year old. The child's playing with muksa,
Not to
doing
worry
things that
about
are usher.
It's
You
not
don't have to
chinuch.
tell the child anything. There's no age of chinuch.
No, it's chinuch.
And he's not doing it for me. Again, you always have to remember, chinuch and lois achilum. Chinuch is only the father. Chinuch has to be the age of chinuch. The age of chinuch for a lois aseh is much lower than an essay. Lois aseh is he understands when I tell him no, it's no, and there's something usher to do, and he knows now it's usher to do that. If he understands that, then he's the age of chinuch of lois. It's a lower stage. Mrs. Essay will be older, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, older age. Lois aseh maybe could be ready 3, depending on how smart the child is. But 1-2 years old, there's no shir chinuch. So once I deal with there's no mitzvah of chinuch, the only thing I have to deal with now is the second issue, leis achilum, which applies not only to the father, to all of Klal Yisrael, father included. You're not allowed to have a child do something for an adult, whether it's asim and Torah, no matter what age. The child's 1 year old, doesn't make a difference what age. There's nothing to do with chinuch. Aveirus are not a good thing. You're not allowed to have children do things for you. So if the child is doing the turning of the lights on his own, not for the father,
Then you can't say no.
or for the other adult, whoever it is, then it's not a problem. There's no chinuch, and there's no issue of leis achilum. You always have to think about these two things. If it's a father, it's two things. If it's not a father, it's another gadol. You only have to think about the issue of leis achilum.
How about Marit Ayin? He's
Nothing
eating
wrong
something
with
not kosher. He is not chinuch. And the father, people there around him.
So then it could come out like we said in the first sif, that if something is just public,
Yeah, he's allowed to.
something is just done in public, a child's doing in
It's gonna
public.
trip up to other people, you know.
If it can make a michshel,
Yeah.
listen, then we should stop him. By the way, the Alter Rebbe says in Sif Gimel, you don't have to forcefully stop him, but obviously, it's a good thing that the father should stop him, even if he's 1-2 years old.
Other kids.
But it's
there.
not a chiyuv. The father ain't of a mitzvah l'monei about karchai.
It's always
You don't have to force him.
But if you could gently stop him.
You stop him. What father wants a child to do things shar asr?
Yeah.
Eating an avela. What child wants his father?
Well, what's with this trephus over here?
Trephus, by the way, is considered worse than other averas. Trephus that go into your body.
Right. So how could somebody
According to all the
let it-
poskim and the
who let it-
Rishonim already discuss,
who let
and it mentions already that Moshe Rabbeinu, he didn't want a nurse from the Mitzri women. So it's a certain special thing, a certain special schos, a special thing not to have. Yeah, it has a certain effect. Having only kosher food has a certain effect on the body.
the same.
So you don't have a chiyuv to stop a child from having trephus, but is definitely something better than the child's not being treif, right? Who wants the child to eat treif? It's going to affect the child.
But now we have treif in front of you.
My brother took his kid to Chuck E.
Usually you don't have treif, but the situations are usually about like Shabbos or other things.
My brother took his kid to this place
Right
called
next to
Chuck E.
McLean.
Cheese.
Next to I tell
They
you,
play
last
arcades,
time.
and they serve pizza over there. The kid is 3 years old. He sat down on the table, he saw pizza, he recognized it was somebody else's pizza, started eating this pizza. The whole family was laughing. It was the funniest thing, and everybody thought that he did the worst thing in the world, that the mother, because we were laughing at one of my siblings, who all thought that she doesn't know how to take care. But it's not that, we thought it was the worst thing in the world. It's not the...
It's not the age of Api halacha.
But it's the same thing
no
as adult eating as far as timtum ala.
If the child ate it for their own, they're not the age of chinuch. So Api din, she's right. Doesn't mean that it's the best thing. You shouldn't have the child. You should.
thought this was like a terrible thing.
Api halacha, what she did was okay. Is that the
No, she
appropriate-
didn't know. She didn't look. She didn't see him.
Right. Is that
She
the
would have stopped it. But
Api
she
halacha?
didn't.
There's no. You don't have to
Last
stop
one,
the
it
child.
doesn't have to-
You don't have to stop the child.
There's a babysitter next to my cleaner, right?
The Kiddush is the father doesn't have to stop, by the way, but
Oh, the mother doesn't.
the adult, the mother, by the way, is not choiv in chinuch. We're going to see in
Really?
a minute. Yeah,
Wow.
even in chinuch, she only has the isaloi sachilim. A mother to a child is just like another adult to a child.
As I said, next to my cleaner, right? I go in and out to the customers. So one Goya coming to me, she's working for the Jewish family. She's taking care of the 2 kids, one in the carrot and one walk a bit off. After she drop the clothes, she go next door to eat in the Goyish restaurant. She sit down to eat. She allowed to, right? She's there. Then, as she's eating, she giving a little bit to the kid. I realized that by going in and out to other customers. So like, she's eating over here.
Oh my God.
Real pig. And it's nice, she's like in the house, she feeding the kid.
Never. What they say.
So I called the mother and I said, listen, you know that your kid is in traffic? She said, no, my Goya know in my house what is kosher. I said, thank you very much. In the house you know, but next to the cleaner, she went to eat lunch and she helping your kid,
She's very from.
Real chazal trade.
There's no internet out there.
And she want to be nice. She didn't even understand it. In the house she understand, but the Jewish people don't do it. She didn't understand it outside.
Yeah. Okay. V'chein top of Tafresh Samach. Next page. Tafresh Samach.
Islam, if you have to say it.
V'chein will koyin if the child is a koyin. You don't have to take him out from a house that has a tum inside, from a beis hachayim, a place that has a caver. Elam kenu bar havana, unless he's a child who has the understanding that this is usher from him to do this as a kohen. Azai of a mitzvah then the father has a mitzvah to take him out. Otherwise, the father doesn't have to take him out. If he did, the father might not want a child to do that. That's an avera, but not obligated. Over here, halacha, we discuss obligations, right? Again, in this case over here, if the child
Sounds like the same type of thing of timtum ala, because like you're eating shafis over here. He said he's becoming tummy, so the age is not really so relevant. You would think.
right, but listen, all averas, the child avera is something not healthy, right? But
Yeah, but for him it's not an avera. It's not an avera for him. If he turns on like time, but here he's eating chafis. That's a
discussion whether or not it's considered. Is it considered an avera just a cotton? Is it considered an avera just a cotton is not obligated in it because we can't enforce him. He's a child. We can't punish a child. He has no knowledge in it. We can't enforce it. Or is the fact it's not an avera?
Not an avera.
Is it not an avera at all? Or is it an avera just the cotton is not someone that we can obligate to keep to stay away from these averas? How do we look at it? It seems that it is an avera. We'll see later on. From now until we learn now, we have no raya. Right now, maybe we'll learn like you. But in the ending, we're going to see the last halacha is that a child that hit the father or did other averas when he was a child, even though he does not need to do tshuva when he grows older, when he's bar mitzvah, but it's better if he accepts upon himself something as a tshuva, as a kapara for what he did. The shaila is, why does he need kapara?
Before Havana?
Yeah, when he becomes bar mitzvah.
No, but when did he do it? Before he was mechuyev and chinuch at all, or after he was mechuyev?
Well, the child is never mechuyev mechinuch on himself anyways. It's the father, right? So whatever age it was. whenever age it was, the child did some Averis. Now he's older.
Let's say he's a toddler and he pulls the beard.
Nah,
You take that to that Avera.
well, no, a real Avera, he did something he did an Avera.
Every kid, say bad thing to his father. No, I don't like you, that. When you're a little kid, you don't even realize.
Okay, so those are not what we're talking. We're talking like a more serious thing. The child really did something serious. The child went and hit his father. He went. Not like a little baby, he's kicking around and doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
But the child did something serious. Let's say a child stole something. Okay, a child stole
from his
something.
father.
Yeah, or from a store. The child, they took some candies in his pocket. So now he's bar mitzvah. He knows he did it. Does he have a chiyuv do tshuva? No. But Toiv, it's better he should. Why is it better he should? According to your sheet, it's not an Aveda. So the Rebbe has a letter that he wrote to someone, a letter of Igris, where he's mamish has this chakira, where he says there's two ways to learn, and he brings different shitas. Two ways to learn whether by the cotton it's not considered an Aveda at all. It's just we have an obligation to mechanech him, but there's no Aveda at all in what he's doing. It's not a sin for him. Or it is a sin, it's an Aveda, just the child's not obligated because it's not shaykhs to give him mitzvahs. The shaykh is to command to the child to do or not to do.
I think he has to understand
Can't
what
punish
he's
him.
doing.
I've come in here to make
We
sure.
can't punish him. We can't tell him not to. But it doesn't mean is it a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing. So the Rebbe brings a raya from this last sif.
Wow.
The Kiddush of that it seems like that this is the other side of the coin. No, there's two shitas, but the halacha it seems like this way. Anyways, but l'maisa that's not al pi din. That's something which is toiv. It's better. Again, a father is not going to want to let the child to eat something usser. But is it something that I'm obligated to do? We have to know what's chayiv and what's toiv. We always have to know halacha. I was one time in a shul where the gabbai got up and said, it was Parshas, it was Shavuos. We know the Rebbe wanted that everyone should come to hear the Aseres HaDibros, even the women and children should come to hear the Aseres HaDibros in shul. It's not something it says in halacha. It's not a deraisa, it's not midrabanan, it's not even a minig. It never was a minig. It's a new thing. It's based on, there is certain milas that talks about in Svarim. There's a medrash that says that when you hear a Aseres HaDibros, I consider it as if you heard it, you were at Matan Torah, you heard it again. A nice, beautiful thing, but it's not a minig to do it. But the Rebbe wanted that children should come, women children should come to hear the Aseres HaDibros.
It's not a choiva.
But I heard a gabbai in a shul announcing once, the night before, the first night of Shavuos, he announced after davening, tomorrow morning, everyone should come to shul, bring the children and the women. It's a mitzvah's essay.
Oh.
The mitzvah's essay in Torah. Everyone should hear it. So I had a good laugh, It's not deraisa. It's not a minute. He was sincere. He didn't mean any harm, He meant sincere. It wasn't here, but it was a sincere mistake. But we always have to remember, we do try to keep everything that we're supposed to do, but we have to remember what's a minig, what's a derabanan, what's a minat Torah, because sometimes situations are difficult. We can't do everything, so we have to know. Even though we try to do everything, we want to do everything, but if there's a shas atchak and there's a certain choyle or a tzorich, certain things, we have to know what it is. What are we dealing with over here? We have to know Shabbos Mavarchim saying Tehillim in the morning is something that our Rebbes wanted you to do. It's not something that says in halacha, right? So we have to know if the child for some reason is sleeping in, we don't have to react like it's he's eating up something awesome in Torah. We have to know everything for itself. We want to mechanech them, obviously, to do everything and to be the best, but we have to know that not everything's is because that's the way Torah Hashem Himself set it up. It's all the Ratzon Hashem. It's all things that Hashem wants, but Hashem says that in certain situations, these type of things are okay. If you can't, and in certain situations you're not able to do it, you always have to know. You have to know what's a minig, what's the rabban. Not in order that we should react to minig like kalustik, chas v'shalom, or be more with a certain look down at the minig. No, but that's not because of that. But you have to know because in halacha, in certain situations, it says that you shouldn't. For example, when we hold that is a suffix min haTorah l'chumra, suffix midrabanan. You have a suffix whether l'kula. Why is it l'kula? Because a drabanan is a drabanan. It's not kula because we decide it's l'kula. Because the Torah tells us the Kula. Hashem says, in this issue you should go l'chumra, when there's a suffix, in this issue you should go l'kula. So this is the rules of the Torah. This is how the Torah, this is the halachas of the Torah.
It says, "Menag Yisrael Torah."
It's part of Torah. It's part of
also
Torah.
part of Torah. That makes
Yeah.
It's also another.
Now, Siv Dalet. Aval imoy, a mother, eine mitzvah of the mother is not commanded on the child. Klal bein mitzvah, bein mitzvah.
Huge Kiddush.
Big Kiddush. Not everyone holds this way, by the way. But the Paiskim,
Who argues?
there's a Shittas and Rishonim that hold this way, and the Magen Avraham held this way. There are Rishonim that hold differently. I don't know if there are any Paiskim that hold differently, but a mother is not chayiv to mechanech the child.
You would think.
For example, let's give you an example. A child is eating out of the sukkah. Now the child is the age of chinuch. The child is not the age of chinuch. Not chayiv, the child not chayiv to eat in the sukkah. Remember, the sukkah is a mitzvah essay. Mitzvah essay is by a higher age. A child has to understand that we have a mitzvah sukkah. It's because we stand on Anei HaKavod. He has to understand that there's a mitzvah. The child, let's say, is 6 years old. 6 years old is 7 years old when he's chayiv to eat in the sukkah. The father has to make sure the child eats in the sukkah. The father sees the child not eating in the sukkah. He tell the child go inside.
And the mother not.
Right. Again, by the way, I'm not going to get into details, but not everything you're chayiv to eat in the sukkah. Even though Hasidim and others are makbeh to eat everything they could in the sukkah, but doesn't mean you're chayiv to eat in the sukkah. So you're not chayiv to tell the child to go and drink every drink of the sukkah. If you want to encourage him to do it, that's up to the father how he wants to mechanech him in the minig of Chasidim. But it's not a chiyuv. Not a chiyuv. So the chiyuv is to make sure those things that you're required to say Elisha Basukkah on, those things that he wants to eat hamoitzi, or he wants to eat a mazoinis, a shir, a kabeya, so you have to tell him he has to go into the sukkah. And if he's not listening, you have to tell him, you better go in. The mother doesn't have to tell him anything.
I have a problem.
The mother can go and give him food outside the sukkah, but she's not allowed to give it to him. She's only allowed to put the plate in front of him. She can't feed him. She can't put it. She can't give it to him in his hands. She can't give it to him in his hands.
So put a plate in front of him and give him his hand. Same thing.
This is a technical thing. You're not directly. He puts it down, and the child takes it. The child could take the plate and eat it in the sukkah. But I'm not telling him that. I'm not telling. Mother's not allowed to tell the child, don't eat in the sukkah. The mother, again, that's an issur loisachilum. Not only is on the mother, and any adult is not allowed to go tell the child, eat over here. The child that's a chayiv to go has to go into the sukkah.
I have a problem with the mother. Nowadays,
Not on the mother.
kids come from the yeshiva, and the mother make homework with them. She study with them. She know everything.
This is everything here is the chiyuv, is good kasha. Everything here is the chiyuv api halacha. Not everything when you look in the law book is exactly the way things play out on the ground. On the ground, of course, the mother is the father is working, and so the mother's really investing.
Go to yeshiva.
The mother really gives the
everything,
the chinuch to the child, 100%. That we find all around Chazal. It's not only something that but we have to just remember what's the chiyuv, what's the halacha. We always have to know the halacha. The chiyuv. Sometimes it could be negeya. Usually, the mother obviously is going to encourage a child to eat in the sukkah.
For a kid, she wants the best for her kid.
Right, but we have to know where is the chiyuv, what's not chiyuv api halacha. Okay, Mitzvah Shamim Mamshech next week.